Welcome, Team Indy. Happy Tuesday. I hope all of you had a good Monday. I'm sorry that I could not be there. But it looks like you have another snow day. So, happy Tuesday. Today is February 9th, 2021. And this is asynchronous. I'm just going to go snow day number 3, I think it is. All right. So for today's agenda, we are going to watch a little video in regards to the snow outside on the ground, and there will be a small activity that I'd like you to do with that. Our second item on the agenda would be within this Jamboard. There are going to be a couple different topics that I want you to look through. There are 2 little activities. There's going to be, again, a video of me showing you how much snow's outside and something that I'd like you to do. And then there are some Doodle Notes on here. Now, with the Doodle Notes, we were going to do this in class today. Instead, I'm kind of putting the slides together, and you will kind of just look over it. You don't have to print it out. If you want to write it on your own in your own copies, that's fine. But again, it's kind of, you're going to see a blank sheet here in a little bit, and then you're going to see answers, and it's almost like a fill in the blank. You're going to want to make your own copy of this. So let me just go like this. Stars, make your own copy. Your own copy of this Jamboard. Okay, so if you're on an iPad, you go up to the top here, make a copy right there. Okay, I don't need to do that. Computers, same, might be on a different side of the board, but you're going to want to make your own copy. All right, now, if you have anything that you need to share with me, please message me. So if you have, again, anything that you need to share, please message me through Schoology from yesterday. So let's move along. So very first thing is a blank page. So with that blank page, I'm going to pull up a video here, and I'm going to show you it, and then we'll kind of go through it. Team Indy, so today, what you're going to do is I'd like you to try to go outside and measure the snow. So right now I'm looking, obviously I cleaned some of the sidewalk off. I'm not going to measure this snow right here, unless you want to make a huge pile of snow to see how high you can get it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to here. I have a stick. I'm going to put that stick down in. Then with the stick, I'm going to kind of put my finger right where it is, and then I'm going to measure that amount. Okay? Or a tape measure or a ruler. If I'm going like this, when we look at it, it's almost up to, I'd say about 4 inches. So, after you see this video, what's going to happen is I'm going to give you a couple math problems in regards to this beautiful snow. All right, see you soon, Team Indy. All right, so with that being said, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go outside, if you can. Maybe some of you are going to measure your highest spot. Okay, write it down. Maybe you're going to shovel some driveways today, make a big pile, see how high it can get. But with the number that I have outside already, which is 4 inches of snow in the ground, let's just say we're going to get a huge blizzard. We're going to get 2 inches of snow per hour for the next, well, we don't know how many hours. We can create, using this information, an equation, or in our case, an expression to start off with. We know there are 4 inches already on the ground, and for every hour that continues to snow, 2 more inches is going to be on the ground. So now we have 4 plus 2h. So down below here, I'm going to make a little table. H would be your hours. Obviously, we could maybe make the other side inches or height of the snow. But let's say it snows 2 more hours. Well, we plug that 2 right there in here. So 2 times 2 is 4, and then 4 plus 4 is going to give us 8. So if it continues to snow for that 2 more hours, we're going to have 8 inches in all. Now again, 2 inches of snow per hour is a lot. Let's now say 10 hours. And then maybe we'll go 25 hours and 50 hours. So again, you're going to want to plug in this 10 here all the way up there. 25 all the way up there. 50 all the way up there. Now that's going to give us a huge number. Now there's other ways we could look at this. We could say, all right, there's 4 inches on the ground. It's going to snow 2 inches per hour over at, let's see, over at Ty's house. He ended up getting 10 inches of snow. Okay. Now, you want to get this variable all by itself. Okay, this is a 2-step equation. So what has to happen is you have to take away the 4 first from one side. 4 over here. So now I have 2h equals 6. Now the opposite of multiplying 2 is dividing by 2. Divide by 2, divide by 2. 3. So this means it snowed for an additional 3 hours over at Ty's house. Okay, 3 hours, 2 inches per hour. Now what I'm wanting you to do is, in our case, you could go outside, let's say every couple hours. If you go outside and there are 4 inches at, let's say you go out at 10 a.m., and then you go out at 12, which is noon. Maybe you're at 5 inches. And then you go out at 5 p.m. And now there are 7 inches. What we could do is we could try and figure out, obviously it snowed 3 inches in, let's see, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. 3 inches, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. in 7 hours. What I want you to try to do is figure out how much it snowed per hour. So in this case, it's not going to be 2 inches per hour. You have to figure out how you would get that. Now, there are some other things we could do. You could say you have your 4 hours or 4 inches of snow plus X. You go out tomorrow morning and there are 12 inches on the ground. How many inches of snow came down in that one day? Well, we take the 4 away. Take the 4 away. It snowed 8 inches. Okay. Now, if we want to think how much it was in per hour, we'll think about it. How many hours are in a day? 24. So you'd have to divide that out. So again, you could do a lot with the snow out there. I'm kind of wanting to see what you can come up with. So I'm going to actually add in another slide here for your information. So any info that you want to put in here about your snow day. And when you make a copy of this, you can delete how I put this. You can put whatever. All right, continuing on. Now the next part is, it says how many different ways can you make the word snow or show to make the word snow. So your goal is to start at the top and work your way down. So the easiest way is to the left. There's one way. Okay. Maybe another way I'm thinking is here and then I go there. All right. That's a second way. Now I'm going to erase that so that when you get to this, it's not on there. But if you've ever done something similar to this up top here, to figure out how many ways there actually will be, you look at the bottom row and you add those numbers up. 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 1. There's going to be 8 ways to solve this problem. So there's 8 different ways for you to create the word snow. Okay, so I'm going to keep that here. Now the second one is more challenging. You can come back to this later because I say that if we look at the bottom numbers and add them all up, 10 plus 10 is 20, plus another 10 is 30. There are 32 ways that you can create winter from starting again from the top. So I'm going to do the easiest way. But now maybe I'm going to go over here. So there's a second way. Or maybe I'm going to go, well, so it's going to take a while to try to find all 32. And you have to try and make this neat. So that's your next assignment. So again, we just have going out in the snow or just trying to maybe look up some information online to see how much it's snowing per hour. And now the Doodle Notes, this is an example, a sample of what we were going to try to do today. So this is one that's already completed. It's very nice and neat, colorful. Now, we're not going to get into that. This would, I think, take maybe 2 whole class periods to do. But these are the answers. So on the next 3 pages, you have a blank sheet which cannot be moved. So this is the blank sheet. Oops, wrong way. This is your blank sheet in the middle there. And this one right here is your answers. Now, you don't have to write all of that down, but what I want you to look through is, all right, solving one-step equations. If you want to put your name up there, go ahead. It is what it is. So the goal for solving one-step equations, and this sheet right here on the left or on the right can be moved around. It can be zoomed in. It can be taken off. It can be deleted. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit. The goal for solving one-step equations is getting the variable alone on one side of the equation, also known as isolate the variable. Okay, but how? How do we do that? Well, let me go ahead and erase this side over here and here. How do we do that? Well, we will use the inverse operations. So we're using inverse operations. Addition is the inverse operation for subtraction. That's how you undo it. Subtraction is the inverse operation for addition, and so on. So you're going to undo. Undoing operations is a way to move unwanted parts that are on the variable side. So where that symbol is, over to the other side of the equation. We have to be careful to keep things balanced. Remember that balance I showed you in class last week. Now, down below here, solutions are values for the variable that will make the equation true. Solutions should look like this. Variable number, okay. Examples, g equals 3, x equals 15. You always want to put that variable first and the number second. So when you're writing your answers out, yes, sometimes it'll come up like this. Oops, let me get rid of that setup. Sometimes your answer will, geez Louise, Mr. Petruska. Oh. All right, one more time. Let's try this. Let's get rid of that one. Okay. Sometimes it'll be, your answer will come out like this. Great. But sometimes the answers come out like this when you're doing a problem. You want to just flip it around. So the variable is first, your variable, and then your number. And then you want to check it off. Okay. You can then look through. Down here, this is kind of like teacher information. Remind students that they should not write only a number. Focus on the concept of making the equation true. Again, over here is a little more teacher input. Check solutions. Reminder. Replace the variable and verify that the equation is true, that you found the correct solution. So this is going to be blank when you get to it. But if I say x plus 5 equals 10, I'm going to subtract my 5, get rid of it because I'm trying to isolate the x. Subtract 5, x equals 5. All right, let's just double check it. Plug this 5 in here. Whether it's on a calculator, in your head, on the paper, I would recommend once we get into larger problems, 100% use a calculator. Well, 5 plus 5 equals 10. I checked it. All right, we're good to go. And we're going to move on. So again, you won't see this part right here because I'm going to erase it in case you want to write some notes. But I'm going to pull that back down. Again, this can be moved. Can move this. Can zoom in on it. So it's up to you if you're wanting to write in on this actual Jamboard. Okay. Page 8, same thing. How to show your work? Well, show the inverse operation happening on both sides. Show work underneath. Only do one step per line of work. So one step at a time. Take your time. Again, you're leading up to us doing multi-step equations. So down below here, you have a couple examples, samples. Identify the operation in its inverse. Then show work to undo it. So I'm kind of looking over at this This is the vocabulary way of saying it. Keeping both sides equal, balanced. Think of a balance. Okay, a scale. You did this when you were younger. Okay, you had like little blocks that we had to put on here. Okay, we have to balance it out. If I have 3 over here, this side's going to tilt down. Okay, think of you at the park. If I was sitting on the seesaw, I'd be down on the ground and you'd be up top. So what you can do on these ones, you could do this in your notebook, or again, if you want to try and do it in your actual Jamboard, you can go on here. Opposite of subtracting 12 is adding 12. Cross it out, add 12. J equals 80. To check it, maybe I plug it into a calculator. 80 minus 12 is 68. We're good to go. Okay? And then at the bottom, which is C, I'm just going through, see if there's anything else on that page specifically. There's not, so I'm going to erase that if you want to go ahead and solve it. And there's just some solve problems here. Reminders for work and answers. I think that's my biggest thing that I want to make sure we focus on. Let me delete that. No, not that. Only do or show one thing per line, meaning you're only doing one item at a time. Okay. Show inverse operations. So if it's an addition problem, you want to subtract from both sides, and then you always want to check all your solutions. Check your work. So let me see if I have anything else. I think I just have a couple blank pages. Oh, this is an answer key for that very first snow one to just show you some of the items and explanations. Now, if you have any benchmark, if you have your benchmark, number 2 still to complete, it's on the missing assignment. Get that completed, please. Take your time, but I need you to get it completed. And if you have any IXLs that you need to complete today, maybe from yesterday, or you want to get ahead and go through chapter 7 in the IXL, you can definitely do that. Have a wonderful day. Please message me, and we will talk soon. Bye.